Hello and welcome to our channel where we discuss various economic concepts and issues. In today's video, we are going to talk about stagflation. What is it, how it affects the economy, and what can be done to address it. Let's get started. Stagflation is an economic condition where an economy experiences a combination of stagnant economic growth and high inflation rates. Typically, economies experience either inflation or recession, but rarely both at the same time. Inflation is a rise in the general price level of goods and services in an economy. It is usually caused by an increase in the supply of money in circulation or a decrease in the supply of goods and services available. On the other hand, economic growth refers to the increase in an economy's production of goods and services over time, usually measured by the gross domestic product. Stagflation occurs when an economy experiences a decrease in economic growth, or even a recession, while at the same time, it is experiencing high inflation rates. This means that prices are rising, but the economy is not producing enough goods and services to keep up with the demand, leading to a decline in the standard of living of ordinary citizens. Stagflation can have many negative consequences for an economy. For instance, high inflation can reduce the purchasing power of individuals and businesses, leading to a decrease in demand for goods and services, and ultimately causing a decline in economic growth. A decline in economic growth can also lead to high levels of unemployment, as businesses struggle to maintain their profit margins in the face of rising costs. Stagflation is caused by a combination of factors. Stagflation is a rare and complex economic phenomenon that is caused by a combination of factors, including supply shocks and decreases in aggregate demand. Let's explore these factors in more detail. Supply shocks occur when there is a sudden and significant change in the supply of a crucial input in the production process, such as oil or labor. For example, if there is a sudden decrease in the supply of oil due to a geopolitical crisis, the price of oil would increase significantly. This would lead to an increase in the cost of production for businesses that rely on oil, which could cause them to raise their prices in order to maintain their profit margins. This, in turn, would lead to inflation. Another factor that can contribute to stagflation is a decrease in aggregate demand. This can occur when consumers and businesses become pessimistic about the future of the economy and decide to reduce their spending. When this happens, businesses may see a decrease in demand for their goods and services, which can lead to a decrease in economic activity. This can then lead to high levels of unemployment, as businesses are forced to reduce their workforce to cut costs. A decrease in aggregate demand can also lead to deflation, which is the opposite of inflation. Deflation occurs when prices decrease due to a decrease in demand for goods and services. This can be problematic for businesses, as they may be forced to reduce their prices in order to remain competitive. This can then lead to a decrease in profits, which can further exacerbate the economic downturn. Stagflation can have a range of negative consequences for an economy. One of the most significant consequences of stagflation is a decrease in the standard of living for ordinary citizens. Inflation leads to an increase in the cost of living, which can reduce the purchasing power of consumers. This means that people will have to spend more money to buy the same goods and services, leaving them with less money to spend on other things. As a result, this can lead to a decrease in demand for goods and services, which can have a negative impact on economic growth. Furthermore, stagflation can lead to high levels of unemployment, which can further exacerbate the economic downturn. As businesses struggle to maintain their profit margins, they may be forced to reduce their workforce, which can lead to job losses and a decrease in consumer spending. This can create a vicious cycle where reduced demand leads to further job losses, which then leads to further reductions in demand. Stagflation can also have a negative impact on businesses. As prices increase, businesses may struggle to maintain their profit margins, which can lead to a decrease in investment and a reduction in production. This can lead to a decrease in economic activity, which can further exacerbate the effects of stagflation. Moreover, stagflation can lead to social unrest and political instability. As people see their standard of living decrease and unemployment rise, they may become more dissatisfied with the government and the economic system. This can lead to protests, strikes, and other forms of social unrest, which can further destabilize the economy. Stagflation can lead to high levels of unemployment for several reasons. Firstly, when there is high inflation, businesses face higher costs for the inputs they need to produce goods and services. This can lead to a situation where businesses may need to increase their prices to maintain their profit margins, but consumers may not be able to afford the higher prices. As a result, businesses may experience a decrease in demand, which can lead to a decrease in the production of goods and services. This, in turn, can lead to job losses. Secondly, if there is a decrease in aggregate demand, as is often the case during stagflation, businesses may experience a decrease in sales. This can lead to a situation where businesses are forced to reduce their workforce to maintain their profitability. The reduction in the workforce can lead to higher levels of unemployment, which can further exacerbate the economic downturn. Thirdly, if businesses face high inflation, they may be forced to reduce their investment in new projects, which can lead to a reduction in economic growth. This, in turn, can lead to a decrease in demand for labor, leading to higher levels of unemployment. Finally, high levels of inflation can also lead to a decrease in real wages. When prices increase faster than wages, the purchasing power of workers decreases, which can lead to a decrease in consumer spending. This, in turn, can lead to a decrease in economic activity and job losses. Overall, the combination of stagnant economic growth and high inflation during stagflation can lead to a vicious cycle of job losses and reduced economic activity. This makes it important for policymakers to take measures to address stagflation and prevent it from causing long-lasting damage to the economy. So, what can be done to address stagflation? Stagflation can be a challenging economic phenomenon to address, but there are some tools that policymakers can use to try and mitigate its effects. Here are some strategies that can be used to address stagflation. 1. Monetary policy. Central banks can use monetary policy tools such as adjusting interest rates to control inflationary pressures and stimulate economic growth. When inflation is high, central banks can increase interest rates to reduce the amount of money available in the economy, which can reduce demand and inflation. When economic growth is sluggish, central banks can lower interest rates to stimulate demand and boost economic activity. 2. Fiscal policy. Governments can use fiscal policy tools such as increasing government spending or cutting taxes to stimulate demand and boost economic activity. When the economy is in a stagflationary period, policymakers can increase government spending on infrastructure or other projects to create jobs and stimulate demand. They can also cut taxes to increase disposable income and encourage spending. 3. Structural reforms. Policymakers can implement structural reforms to address underlying issues in the economy that may be contributing to stagflation. For example, they may work to improve productivity by investing in education and training programs or by making it easier for businesses to access credit. They may also work to reduce barriers to trade or implement regulations to increase competition in key sectors of the economy. 4. Supply-side policies. Supply-side policies can also be used to address stagflation by increasing the supply of key inputs such as labor or energy. For example, policymakers may work to increase the availability of skilled workers by investing in education and training programs or by implementing immigration policies that make it easier for businesses to hire workers from other countries. They may also work to increase the supply of energy by investing in alternative energy sources or by developing domestic sources of energy. In conclusion, stagflation is a complex economic phenomenon that can have a number of negative consequences for an economy. It is caused by a combination of factors, including supply shocks and decreases in aggregate demand. While there are a number of tools that can be used to address stagflation, monetary policy and fiscal policy are two of the most effective. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative videos.